We're running a few minutes late.
Yes, I can see that. Oh, I'm not even lit. Shows you how out of practice I am. Hello, everybody. I'm not even lit. Let me put some sounds up. Dave. Oh, how am I sounding? It's looking very stuttery at this end.
You're sounding good to me.
Sound fine. Sound fine to us.
And it's looking like I'm not getting a great connection though. Right, let's run with it. Thomas, if you can hear me, how's it looking on the YouTubes?
We now have to hope that Thomas is actually listening at this moment.
Yeah, it hasn't wandered off because which is quite a reasonable thing to do done in the circumstances.
I suspect we press ahead and hope for the best. It does sound fine.
Yeah, so you do sound.
I think the sound will be fine on the laptop mic. I'm just worried that my bandwidth may not be great. Is what I'm worried about this time. And I can't turn my lights on.
It looks like we've gone down to one viewer on Facebook, which is probably me.
Oh, excellent.
So you have to make sure you heckle properly then, just to get the right feel.
Let me just tweet a bit of a reply to my previous thing and say that we are now streaming.
I love the professionalism of the effect. This is obviously this is Zaki's first proper run with us, just the three of us as crew. And look at what's happening. It's all going horribly wrong.
No surprise.
You're muted, Mohammed.
You're muted.
See?
The first official job, first day job for Zaki, Coriolis exploded. So perfect.
It's all uphill.
Spoilers, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, coincidence?
Yeah. Did we have experience from last time to sort out, or did we get that already?
Now you're asking me. It's been weeks ago.
It was about.
I think you got experience.
7 weeks ago.
I don't know.
I think you got experience.
It's quite possible, but
it can't be
ruled out.
Kind
of fill the program out because it ended rather more briefly than I expected. Zaki, you'll be fresh to this and have not had many repeats of these experiences. Do you think you got experience last time?
Nobody. No, we didn't get experience. I'm not repeating my captain words, but no.
Right, okay. Let's get the big book of experience out there.
I don't know. I think it's quite possible that we did.
Yeah.
I can't remember because
I can't remember,
in my sheet I didn't have experience because we didn't do much in the last session. To be honest, we just talking back and forth.
Yeah, you got all the experience you deserved. Right. Well, we'll see. Let's not get the big book of experience out. Let's just run with it as it is. Coriolis exploded. That was the thing that happened last time.
It was a minor incident.
You had very little to do with it because despite my best efforts as GM to get you to turn your ship around and either go to Coriolis itself or to Kura, you didn't.
You had the judge pleading with us to stay on Coriolis to help her son.
We're like, fuck.
And we said no.
With you. Tony, I was pleading with you. No, it was fine. So as pretty much anybody who survived the experience would have experienced, you luckily saw it from a distance, and you heard from your ex-crewmate, Cade, who is a member of the Circle of Seekers, a mystic, and joined a whole bunch of others in the middle of the previous adventure to get a ship to Kua. And he'd been down on the surface of Kua when they raided the monolith. and use their resonance powers to effectively shoot a beam of energy up to Coriolis and destroy it. Because you were one of the first on the way to the Rimward Reach, you don't actually get to Djachroum first.
Yeah, we're the first
because
to
you're
leave,
so
we're the last to
slow.
arrive.
Yeah, a little bit like in a microcosm, a little bit like the story of the Zenith itself, who was first to leave Al-Ada, but the last to arrive in the third horizon. So you have been in communication with a number of ships going past you, and you are aware of of people that were heading to Coriolis, changing course for Djachroum. Some people who'd managed to escape from Coriolis, really more by luck than judgment, because very few people knew what was going on. But some people had got off Coriolis, and there were a number of people picked up in space, ships caught in the explosion of Coriolis, who were then having to be rescued by other ships. They're still, a lot of them are still on their way. But when you arrive,
are they on their way to Djachroum then? So is Djachroum kind of becoming the main refuge point that everyone's heading to?
Yes, yeah. You might have thought, well, Kua's nearer and it's a whole planet. Why aren't people going down there? But there's quite a lot of chaos down there as well. The monolith has just exploded and shot a beam of a beam of energy up to destroy Coriolis. You think that your aunt's home, among many others in the conglomeration, may have been destroyed or buried under the ash cloud that the monolith exploded into, when pretty much the whole exterior of the monolith crumbled to nothing as the energy is built up within it, and fell down on top of people's homes. And given that the Zenithians had built into and onto the monolith your luxury apartment, which I had planted as a way of making sure you'd be down by the monolith when it all turned to shit.
But didn't we tell you we sold that just before the thing happened?
Yes.
And it was
No,
worth
actually,
10
million
bear in mind,
You were
it wasn't your own
mortgage.
luxury apartment. It was
No.
space given to you by the Astaban. And indeed, you may not have been welcome there, since you'd just been summarily fired by the Astaban. And when I say fired, by an explosive sabotage in your ship, which I have to credit Oshian and Zaki, working together as a team, succeeded in what was obviously a plan by Ricard and Croyer to destroy your ship. Ricard and Croyer, I should point out, is not a non-player character you've never heard of, but the author of
The guy who wrote the campaign. Exactly.
I mean, I think his solution to people doing exactly what you did was to blow up their spaceship to make sure that they couldn't do that.
Which is a bit harsh. Having barely flown my ship, I would have been very disappointed as a player and as a character, if my ship had been destroyed at that point. Having flown it once and had it knocked down out of the sky by Paul and his bloody missile.
You have been also. You took it all the way to Oedicon. That's right on the other side of the horizon. You haven't barely flown it, but I think it's particularly galling that you pay it off moments before it explodes.
Yeah. Do we have? Have we got insurance on it?
You're still in the ship. You're still in the ship, and you are. It's mostly space worthy. You've lost a couple of modules.
Oh yeah, we did lose a bit of it, didn't we?
I think you may be wearing exoshells for fear of later decompression, but the atmosphere, broadly speaking, seems to be holding, or at least if there's a leak, it's a slow one, like on the International Space Station. So you are limping, shall we say? Not limping because your engines are fine generally, but you've lost a couple of modules. It's going to be a big repair job. which I have some images to show you. Let me get the first one up. Give me a
Did
moment.
we salvage any refugees from the Coriolis explosion, or we just went to alone? To the
No, I think you guys decided not to.
Okay.
I think that was a conscious decision you made last.
We've still got the judge with us, don't we?
You have got the judge, yeah. So you have salvaged one very important refugee from Coriolis, who is the judge Nigella Kurahan, who now is a little bit in shock, having heard that her son, from the report you got, was not just in the monolith and destroyed when it shot its beam of energy, but kind of one of the ringleaders of the raid on the monolith as well. So maybe even directly responsible, or at least shared responsibility for what happened to Coriolis.
So
now,
a mass murderer then?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you're going to play that when you get to the ship. I'm going to share a screen. Ooh. I've got an interesting. There we go. See on my cursor, and it's not. It's not. Oh dear, what's going on here? I'm failing to share a screen. Oh, weird. I don't know about you, but I've got an image of Tony with the map.
Nope.
No, we've just still got the COD split with 4 of us.
I have no idea. There we go. That might have cured that one. Let's try coming back here and share the screen properly. There we go. Share screen. Oh dear, it's forgotten all its preferences. Don't you be humorous, young man.
Excellent. You're part of the crew now for sure, Zaki. Good man. So,
do we need to worry about the
sorry.
tear in space now after these millions of people dying? Probably.
It's a long way away, though, isn't it? Wasn't there? There was a like a proximity thing about it, I think. If not,
there was a group there trying to completely close it up, wasn't there?
But I'm not necessarily proposing that we fly to Oedicon to check.
No. If it's done, it's done.
Yeah, it's done as far as we're concerned, I think.
Okay, so that should be able to show you the images on my screen. I don't have any idea why it's not doing that. Let's try again. Window, preview, share. Bollocks. Okay, I'm going to try a different tactic. Give me a moment.
Okay. It's better be a really nice picture after all this build-up.
Probably worth it, yeah.
It's the best picture you have ever seen. Arguably. I'm going to do it as an overlay. So I'm going to bring it to downloads and take that picture there and there we go.
So whilst we're doing that, I got myself a new B-wing model.
Nice.
So this one, the cockpit turns.
Ooh.
The arms can close.
Ooh.
And it can be put at any angle I like.
Well, they've upgraded the B-wing since
it's really worth the 20 quid I spent on it.
And is that an X-wing B-wing?
It's an X-wing B-wing, yes.
Okay, so in the absence of showing the screen, do you see now on the on the actual screen here?
I can see something down the middle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the spaceport on Djachroum.
Okay.
And it's
So this
as you
is a
can see,
station, not on a planet.
so it's an asteroid.
It's kind of in
Rimward
the
Reach.
Kuiper belt, isn't
Built
it?
into the.
So,
I see. Yeah.
So it is buried kind of in the asteroid, and you in a Class 3 ship are looking for a dock at the top level here. So
Level
these
A.
are where Class 3 ships dock. As you're approaching, you are addressed by the gunboat Calico, which is here in the center and acts as air traffic control, effectively. And there's a lot of... Sorry?
So go on, Matt. Just finish your description. Go on.
I was going to say there's a lot of chatter on the line because there's a lot of ships looking for docking space. So you're kind of having to queue.
Yeah. So I was just asking, do we have somebody here that we are delivering the judge to? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, you do.
That's what I thought. And
you have your sister Isabelita.
Yes. Yep.
So there's a lot of chatter on the line. You're listening, and then the Calico turn their attention to you, and rather tiredly say, kind of, I suppose you're looking for permission to dock as well.
Indeed, we are looking for permission to dock. Yes, that is correct. Well done.
You're Class 3.
Correct.
I don't think we have any space for you on the Class 3 docks.
I think we do. Go on, Tone. You do have space for this ship. Where's John when we need him?
What are you going to say, Tony, then?
So is there enough space on any of the other docks where we could fit in?
No. So
this is
the largest docks can take Class 3 vessels, such as yours.
We should tell them that we are delivering the Judge Kurahan from the burning embers of Coriolis. And it's an important mission. So let us dock, you bastards. We have important passenger on board.
Well,
Are you saying that, Tony?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Do we want to say that? Do we know
well,
what?
I probably wouldn't say you bastards, not on this first meeting. I know that is the approach that Dave normally takes with everybody first time round. But eventually Zaki warmed to him.
It wasn't me calling him a bastard that was the problem, though, was it?
Maybe you can just say in the name of your contact. We don't know if the judges really wanted to be on.
No, we don't know what the kind of.
No, I suppose not.
The view is going to be of the various factions now. Or do we just say, we have refugees? We're refugees from Coriolis. We need.
I think you need to just charm him, Tone.
Have you seen these 57 other ships that have arrived before you, all claiming to be refugees from Coriolis?
Well, did you see what happened to Coriolis? I think it's a reasonable claim for most of these ships, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that you are refugees in Coriolis. What I'm saying is there are a large number of refugees in Coriolis, and none of you have any priority over any others.
Can you check your logs, please? I guess you will find our transponder marked as highest priority.
Go for it, Zaki. I'm piloting.
Right, I'm going to make this a difficult role, Zaki.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to help though.
problem.
Okay, then
Okay.
take 2 dice off, and that includes a 3 dice penalty for it being hard to hack into another warship, especially without any form of electronic warfare.
Okay.
But you are being helped by Tony, so 3 dice off, 1 extra dice from Tony equals 2 dice off.
Okay.
Once we get refitted, we will have better capability to do this kind of thing.
Can you be able to contact your sister while we're here, see if she has any? We don't really know what her status is on this place, so maybe
No,
she
that's
has some
true.
influence.
2 successes.
That's a good idea. I'll do that.
2 successes.
Did
One
we
moment,
refresh
what's the
our?
ship's name? I've forgotten your ship's name, Dave.
What is our
One moment,
courage?
Najira.
Najara.
Najara?
Najara.
Is that still what our transponder says? I can't remember whether we.
Yeah, I think it does.
The fake transponder, I guess.
It does. Yeah, we've got 2 others, but it does say that at the moment. Yeah.
Did we reset our darkness points or still at?
All your
20
darkness
something?
points are 0.
I was going to
because
say,
you just
Coriolis
blew
guy
up
must have
Coriolis.
wiped out. Yeah.
It does officially wipe all your darkness points.
What Zaki did. Zaki blew up Coriolis.
I got rid of all the darkness points. Good work.
Yeah. Right, what other station can we blow up when we get to 20 darkness points? Excellent.
Do it.
Okay. He says a dock has just become available, and he directs you to it, and it is on this level A on the map here, the top level, because you can't go any lower.
Okay.
And as you approach, I'm going to make this is a really crowded spaceport. You're sliding in between 2 slightly bigger vessels. It's a tight fit. I want you to make a piloting roll at -1 dice.
Okay.
Can I swing round from the helping Zaki console to the helping piloting console and help with it?
You know, doing one hand on the wheel and one hand.
No. Stop.
Yeah, I think we're in no rush, are we? And we're a very slow ship. And okay, so I get an extra dice from Tone, yeah?
Yeah, but you're -1. You're normal because
Okay.
I gave you -1.
So I need to lose a die. Okay. Okay, that's 2 successes.
Right. Okay. You narrowly avoid scraping down the side of somebody else's
Well,
ship.
that's exactly where I plan to fly it, because for 2 successes, I'm just, nothing too flash, but totally confident.
Yeah, the flash would have been 3 successes, obviously.
Yeah. Then I'd have rolled
Actually
in or something.
scraping down if you'd got one success. But this one, you do it pretty neatly. Now this, I imagine this whole spaceport doesn't have a big EDF field over it. So you have to wait for docking clamps to connect to your airlock, and there's again, they're short of operators, and so it takes a little bit longer than you might normally expect. But eventually, maybe a good time to change hammy or whatever. But eventually,
change him for what?
Well, I mean,
Not
sweep
doing
out
that
his
job.
cage or
Clean
whatever.
out his litter tray.
He just runs around the arboretum. We have to go around.
He
and pick
does,
it up.
yeah. Fertilizing the arboretum, I guess.
Natural fertilizer.
Exactly.
Eventually, you can hear through the hull of the ship the sort of docking clamps doing their business, and then whoever's in the bridge gets the word that you are secure and able to report. Could you come to the and it gives you directions to a immigration station on level 5.
Okay.
It isn't on this map here. Don't look for level 5.
right.
Something I just made up on the spur of the moment.
Okay. I do realise when I'm looking close at the map on there, and I have to look over my glasses. All you do is get a shot of my forehead. Great television.
No,
Oh yeah.
I am going to
Okay.
take that map off now, just to having acquainted you with the shape of the
Yeah,
with
that's
the
cool.
thing. And hide that and get some more overlays added in while we're talking.
So do we want to take the judge with us at this point, or shall we leave her aboard?
I guess it's very.
What state
is there any reason? Yeah, sorry, go on, Tim.
So what kind of state is the judge in? How is she?
Well, I thought she was shocked when it happened. You have spent 40 days getting here.
That's true.
So,
well, to be honest, I imagine we were all in a bit of shock. I mean, Oshian and I had lived. That was our home for many years.
I think you've gone through. You've gone through denial and anger. I think you're
through all those stages.
Acceptance now. Yes.
It does feel quite a long time ago. Strangely, when that happened.
Yeah. So the judge is recovered. She's composed now, shall we say? I don't know what inner turmoil she might be dealing with, but to all intents and purposes, she is calm and measured in her responses to you and polite.
Was I able to get through to Isabelita?
Oh yes, that's what you're trying to do.
Because also getting a sense of what the political situation on Djachroum is at the moment, and whether it's very tense or whether,
Well, so really do you want to have a conversation with Isabelita about this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you do manage to get through, and she says, "Why didn't you tell me you were here? I could have cleared a landing space for you."
That's to the GM, not to Isabelita.
I have to earn my money, so I have to earn.
It was well earned. It was well earned. Not that I pay you anything, I don't think, do I? But
yeah, did you expect being paid for this? Oh, okay.
This isn't Firefly, Mohammed.
She calls up some things. Oh, I see which dock you're at. Yes, that's good.
We have a person aboard who is keen to meet you, or you're keen to meet her.
Obviously,
yeah. In fact, presumably we might have discussed this with the judge on the 40 days it's been taken to get here. Mm-hmm. Is the judge kind of comfortable with meeting with Isabelita, and have we told her that
she briefed? If you remember, she briefed Isabelita over long range radio communications.
Oh yeah, that does ring a bell.
There was quite a big delay between conversations.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay.
She was warning them before Coriolis exploded that something might happen, like Coriolis exploding. Nothing. I think not exactly Coriolis exploding, but the horizon, shall we say, exploding. And she'd got evidence which she'd been passing to Djachroum about the stuff. So she's very happy. She feels, apart from the fact that her son might have blown up a space station, she feels on the right side of history in this one.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. We're in Docking Bay 94. Do you want to meet us here, or shall we come and meet you? We're being invited.
Yes,
to go
it's pretty chaotic here.
We've been invited to go to.
I think we can find a different rate through immigration for you.
Good.
Normally we're not worried, but these last few weeks we've had ships like yours, faster than yours, but but like yours.
I've got my plans for upgrading all here and all costed out. So as soon as we're in,
I see. Well, given you did indeed rescue the judge within the four shifts that you were set, and obviously we weren't expecting you to bring her here. within those 4 shifts, then obviously the bonus
that was
we
never
promised.
happening.
That would have been slightly unrealistic.
Right, it's a bit chaotic down here. I think wait for me to come to the ship, she says. And
that sounds fine.
2-3 hours later, you get a signal through the docking station that is the equivalent of a doorbell ringing on a ship. Immediately, Hammy starts yapping because she's like,
Do capybara yap?
I don't think they do. No. Immediately, Hammy starts looking at you through those stern eyes with an apple balanced on her head as she comes out of the pond in the Arboretum, silently.
Yeah, I think the sooner we lose Hammy, the better for all our sanity's sake.
Ooh, no.
I mean,
she's a beloved pet of all our listeners. And you're already planning to do what Soka was going to do to her.
No. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. That's obscene.
I don't know what Thomas thinks about that, or even if he heard. So
yeah, let's just make sure it's Isabelita. Did you mean to put that?
I didn't mean to do that. No, I didn't mean to do that. It's because I'm trying to put the battery compartment back on my mouse and it's just exploded.
We have technical problems, everyone. We do apologise. Normal service will be resumed as soon as we've worked out what normal is.
Yeah. We've never done normal service before. Why should we start now? Oh, gosh. Hey, hi, John.
I love it. Random messages from those few that we've had from our...
I'm just preparing my mouse so that I can make the correct messages at the appropriate time whenever anybody says. For example, where I was going was this comment from Frank Raldanash, who, of course, put together the Djachroum and the Rimward Reach supplement available on the Free League Workshop and Drive-Thru RPG, translating the original Swedish document into an English version and putting it all together in their format, which you've seen with those illustrations. Thank you very much, Frank. That's what I was trying to get to, and while I was repairing my mouse.
Anyway, right then, back to the story.
So she greets you. I just had to do this now. Sorry, I'm just having fun with our viewers. Right, carrying on. She greets you and says, "It's I like to think you could say it's organized chaos here, but Djachroum has seen an influx of people that it has never before seen. Already we have arguments building. It's going to be very hard to find accommodation for the 3 of you. Your ship looks in a pretty sorry state, the harbour master was telling me."
Yes, as I said, I've got plans for a refit. If we can, and the money for a refit.
Very well. Well, you haven't got the money until I pay you for it, but...
Well,
but yes.
I've done the refit, and we've agreed it. And it's, so it's happening.
You, player, have agreed it with me, the GM, but I'm going to milk every moment of drama I can out of you.
Well, I've crossed out all the old scores, so I don't know what they are anymore. So.
No. So the ship is going into docks. You're not going to be able to use, or is going to go into repair docks, is pretty much it. So I'm going to strand you on Djachroum for in at least the length of this adventure, so that you are forced to take the opportunities that I tell you about.
Yeah, let's hope.
You can't just fly off somewhere else and do something more interesting.
Let's hope that doesn't explode while we're here.
No, there is that.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not going to explode while we're here either. No.
Good.
Oh dear, says the tech, and then bam, as you walk away from the ship, it explodes. No, that's not what happened. She says, and she takes you down what to you right now is a maze of corridors. You're walking through a whole bunch of things, some of which are kind of lined and they look like a corridor on the Starship Enterprise or something like that. Others are smoothly polished, but obviously asteroid rock, where you're going in through tunnels. And the rock of Djachroum is kind of interesting when you smooth it and polish it. It's got a sort of weird sort of marble-like experience. It looks oddly glamorous for what should otherwise be quite a utilitarian tunnel. And she says, we will, of course, get you papers, but Djachroum has always been a very free and easy place. And the idea of giving people papers when they arrive is relatively new. I don't think anybody's going to care quite where your presence is, and nobody's going to check up on you if you haven't reported to immigration. But we'll sort those papers in a moment. The key thing for the three of you, Her Excellency the Judge will be accommodated, but we need to find the three of you accommodation while we do that. First of all, though, I want to take you to the offices of the Akbar, just to kind of formally introduce the judge. Are you all ready for that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Ready as wherever likely to be.
Yes. Let me just call up the next thing. I think this is the picture. I'm going to go to full screen here so I can actually see what it is. As you're walking through, you are in fact actually stopped by a guy carrying quite a heavy looking weapon, and he's ordinarily dressed, a jalaba for the most part, but he is wearing an embroidered purple sash and also a kind of embroidered purple turban. And he greets Isabelita formally, also knowing a little bit about who, kind of recognizing her, but definitely kind of not being subservient to her. Definitely, putting a hand up and getting the four of you to stop. And he leads Isabelita away, and they have a quiet conversation that none of the three of you can hear. There's a little bit of pointing back to you at the group. And then you'll see him nodding. And finally, she waves you forward. You catch up. He says, and I've got a quote here. I want to quote you because I quite like the quote, and I've now got to find it. As you're going past, he says, "Forgotten, damn it."
Does he?
He says to you,
"Have you forgotten, sir?
Gentlemen, madam, welcome to Djachroum. Just remember this, and you will be your stay here will be pleasant. Djachroum is the Akbar, and the Akbar is Djachroum." And then he waves you on, and she leads you to the point marked number 9. You enter into this massive cavern carved into the rock, and what looks like a city is laid out beneath you. Ahead of you are some of the gantries and bridges that span the space, and up above you, you think is the spaceport. But here in this huge place, which she introduces you to you as the Cave of the Hanging Bridges, is what looks like a city, something like on this map here. And she points out the governor's palace down at point number 9, just below where it says Bridgetown. She says, "We're headed there to introduce you to the governor, or at least to the council, and to find you accommodation. And she says that specifically to Judge Kurahan. And then, brother, and she turns to you and Yaqub, and who is this? She says, pointing to Zaki.
This is our new associate and friend, crew member, Zaki Barakat.
A pleasure to meet you. She is very courteous. Apart from that brief lack of information that she had, she's not being rude when it may have felt a bit rude when she said, "Who's this?" But as soon as
who the fuck's that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Zaki was not offended.
Yeah, I
as
thought
soon
you
as Oshian introduces her, she's sweetness and light and welcomes you and says, "Any friend of my brother's is a friend of mine." And
Thank you.
Then she takes you down into the cavern and through the shambles, and you
as
can
we're
see
going along. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep,
Can we just ask her about what the kind of political situation is? What the governor? What's their factional position?
Factions have no sway here. Djachroum is entirely independent of the factions. If any faction can be said to hold any degree of power, you'd call it the Nomads. But the Nomad Federation doesn't claim ownership of Djachroum. It is merely that many of the shall we say, the dignitaries and the movers and shakers here are nomads, not that the nomads control Djachroum. I think it may be worth saying that I would not mention, brother, our connection with the Lotus. I mean, people know about it, but don't try and push the Temple of Alarm as a way of currying favor with anybody here.
Not too impressed with the temple then here, are they?
No, they're not impressed, but neither are they unimpressed. There will be people. There will be people already. Their voices raised, Zenithian voices for the most part, raised, saying that there should be recognition of the changes that happened on Coriolis before its destruction. So there are some very loud Zenithian refugees here, but they are refugees. And for the most part, many of them, no matter how high born they were or whatever their accommodation was, they're struggling to find accommodation here.
So is this city kind of carved out in the middle of the asteroid then?
Let me give you another image. Right, this is the asteroid. And this is the space station. And you have made your way through tunnels.
Can't see your cursor if you're using your cursor.
The space station is at the number 1.
1, yes.
So that's the docks where you've landed. And after quite a walk through very many tunnels and things like that, you have arrived somewhere between 2 and 4. 4 is the cave of the Hanging Bridges, which I've shown you another image of.
And what's the gravity like there? Is there just artificial gravity in Coriolis? I'm not really sure. Or is it this rotating to create kind of gravity in that central?
No, there's so gravitics, the manipulation of gravity has long been
that is the drawing.
Yeah. So you've got artificial gravity here for the most part. The asteroid itself wouldn't have much, though it's large. It's not large enough to hold you to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of where you are in relation. This must all be new to you. You've lived in a more civilized place, I think, Yaqub, for most of your life.
Well, I'm not sure how civilized much of Coriolis was compared to it. Had its civilized parts, but it also had its less than civilized parts, which tended to be the ones where we worked. To be fair, so I'm not sure where that used to civilization.
No. But yes, there are different behaviors here, and as I say, don't expect any faction allegiances that any of you have. She looks, she glances at you, Zaki, and you can see her kind of giving you an up-down appraisal, trying to work out what you are. And she says,
wondering where those bruises came from.
You're from Mirror, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, look at this wanted poster.
Yeah. How much is he worth?
Give away my plot.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Mirror originally.
Yeah. So have you, of course, the very center of the Church of the Icons.
Yeah, I was one of the orphans during the raised in one of the churches of the icons in Mira.
Yeah. So, do you have any standing within the church? You don't look like a priest.
It was just an orphanage. So, no allegiance.
And what have you done with your life since?
Well, so what about this cold flame thing then, Zaki?
Yeah, the cold flames.
Are you
was
saying
the
that, Dave?
Yeah, I think so.
Is Oshian saying that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
These days are behind me. I hope I managed to.
Well, I'm saying it definitely with a joking.
He's not getting the joke, honestly. Just afraid of Isabelita. He doesn't know her, so he's a bit intimidated by her. He's just.
She's not good at her.
Yeah, so aren't we hoping that the cold flame think you're dead?
Yeah. He's hoping that the cold flame is dead, so he's wanted by many powerful people.
Do we need to get you a false identity or something then?
Probably do, don't we? We might have. Could we have worked on that on the way?
How about Baki Zarakat?
He's not that important to be noticed, to be just taken care after the explosion of Coriolis. He's just in the background. Nobody will ever just
Djachroum is a sanctuary to many. I would not fear any retribution here. This is the Akbar city, and they accept all sorts, even Zenithians, she says, turning to the judge.
Even.
Come, let us walk through. And you go through a marketplace, and you can see a really busy marketplace because they've got more customers than they've ever had. You can see lots of people looking very strangely, trying to find their way around the stalls. Lots of people looking at root crops and things from all over the horizon that have been brought here. Actually, one of the things you might notice is there's not much food in any of these markets. There are people arguing and outbidding each other for the food that's available because there's been a big influx of population and not many food deliveries yet from other systems. So the market looks a bit sparse of produce, but it's looking really, really busy in terms of customers. You kind of have to fight your way through the shambles a little bit, as you get people there. Dave, can you make an observation roll? It's not an ambush before you say it.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say earlier that kind of keeping an eye open.
We share the same talents. Huh?
I think I got 7 dice for that in total. Yeah. Okay. I get 1 success.
Okay, so you're noticing that these purple people wearing purple sashes, purple turbans, there's just a few of them. They're not paying you any particular attention, but they are obviously standing in some sort of authority here. They look like the local police force.
Right, okay. And these are the Akbar's men, presumably, men and women.
Well, you might presume that. You could ask Lita if you wanted.
I'll just quietly nudge her and say the purple guards, these people, they are, I assume these are the Akbar's means of keeping law and order on the asteroid.
You wouldn't necessarily say the Akbar. These men are loyal to Safraim Khan, but Safraim Khan does sit on the council of Djachroum and arguably the Rimward Reach. But yes, you may see them as the civilian, or the civil, I should say, peacekeepers here on Djachroum, a little bit like the Coriolis Guard were.
And why does Safraim Khan get that responsibility? Why does he have the honor of having his men patrolling the asteroid?
Well, because the Akbar asked him to.
Right. Okay.
I imagine.
So this is an official thing. This isn't.
Oh
this
yeah.
isn't
Yes.
him
These army that wanders around.
Yeah.
No. These aren't heavies. This is.
Yeah. Okay.
So. I think we're in a moment of change here, but there is a council of 3. These you should know, who work under the Akbar. The priest Kubar Nariman. He is. Well, I guess you could say he is Djachroum's spiritual guide. There's a religion here called the 5 Doctrines, but don't let that worry you. But so yes, he looks after the soul of the people of Djachroum.
The 5 Doctrines, is that something outside of the icons, or is that?
Oh no! It's entirely within the church.
This isn't heretical, okay?
No. Safraim Khan, he looks after, shall we say, the safety of the people of Djachroum.
So he's a health and safety officer. Effectively.
Well, no, the security. He's a policeman.
Right, okay.
He's the chief of police, should we say?
Right.
And the 3rd council member is the Nassar Prince, Mahmoud Gubanu, who is, I think, if you like, should we say, Secretary of Trade. You might call him the Exchequer. He is the chief tradesman here, and Djachroum thrives on trade. And let me suggest will thrive more now that Coriolis is out of the picture.
And in the scale of Djachroum,
she's opened up this conversation. You mentioned it quietly to who are these purple turban people, but she's opened up this immediately to educate all 4 of you, including the judge.
And Djachroum, in terms of the scale of Coriolis, is tiny, I assume?
Oh, yes. In terms of the population and in terms of the size of the structures, yes.
Yeah.
And until now, much less densely populated. But as you can see, she points around to, as you can see, that is likely to change, at least temporarily.
That's going to put quite a strain on the resources of the place, isn't it? Where does most of the food come from here normally? Does it come from in-systems, like from Kua? Is that trade going to be significantly disrupted by the events?
Yes, well, I imagine there will be
destruction of
some.
Coriolis.
There will be some difficulties with the trade when the biggest market on Kua, the biggest center of trade, the spaceport from where all the ships came, are all based around the conglomerate. These will, there's sure to be a disruption. But
so it's going to put quite a pressure on if the population increases massively and the food supply decreases massively. That's going to put quite a strain on the entire place, isn't it?
Yes, I think the council is all too aware of that already. The Nassau Prince is communicating on that. He sees this though as a great opportunity, but in the interim, at least, prices will be high.
Is this Matt's way of getting rid of all my money?
Yeah, especially for ship refits.
No, I've already factored all that. It's fine. That's all done.
Yes, my brother, she says to you, Tony, my brother sent ahead with instructions, and I was able to negotiate a fair price.
I owe more money on the ship now than I did before, but it will be a much better ship once it's refitted.
Come, we must hurry to the governor's palace.
Move the scenario along.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd be getting a little bit further now, but this is all good stuff. This is actually what I kind of wanted to do, is look in detail at how it's all changing. So they take you to the governor's palace. I'm going to take this one down again and put the other image up. I'll work out why I can't share screens. So yeah, through the shambles here.
You can't see the cursor.
Sorry, through the shambles at the bottom. Number one.
So the shambles, that's a permanent part of Djachroum. That's not like a shanty town of refugees that's grown up.
No. These are market stalls.
Is that like the market?
Yeah. The bazaar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She takes you up Sugar Boulevard and past the Lotus Square. She says, this will be an interesting part of Djachroum to get to know. I was quite surprised with the announcement that the Church of the Icons had made earlier on about pulling back from the Horizon Council on Coriolis. They were taking the emissaries' place as observers and not participating fully in the decision making. I think they will be more assertive now, and so expect So I should say Lotus Square is named for Lotus City on Dabaran, which is considered to be shall we say, a slightly breakaway and a dissenting voice within the church. And which voice within the church gets to guide the church in the coming months will be an interesting one to be aware of. And then she takes you up past where are we going now? Hamat's Gallery, she points that out, and Hamat's Hanging Bridge, and then you are close to the governor's palace. Oh no, sorry, I said number 9 was the governor's palace. I'm talking rubbish.
Consulate.
Yeah, no, let's ignore number 9. Okay. That's the consortium consulate, which has got loads of people around it, all trying to kind of get visas and trying to use the power of the consortium, but finding it quite difficult. It almost appears to be shuttered as the people inside are panicking and working out quite what the situation is. But you go all the way up to number 13, which is the governor's palace. She says, this isn't the restaurant at the top of the spire of Coriolis. I had pretty much block booking in here, but this will be a time of waiting and of bidding to enter each room. So as you pass through the first portal, a very polite gentleman asks you to declare your weapons. The judge says, I have none, and is allowed through.
I have loads. Am I allowed through?
You are allowed through into an adjoining room where you are politely requested to check them in.
Okay, of course. I look at my Oshian, of course, and seeing what he will do.
Yeah, I'll hand in my weapons.
Yep.
My ceremonial blades are exactly that. They're part of my ceremonial dress. I shall not hand those over.
You don't, like Gandalf said,
don't deny a man his walking stick.
Yeah.
Don't deny me my toothpick.
Yeah, that doesn't appear to be a problem at all. I mean, they were looking at your various repeaters and carbines and auto fire capable weapons.
Yeah, hand over my.
So yes, your ceremonial blades you are retaining without any subterfuge. You're being quite open about it.
Yeah,
and
part of my ceremonial outfit.
Isabelita says it suits you more than your Zenithian accoutrements you used to wear.
My Dayal carbine. It's a fucking great gun. But yes.
Yeah, but you didn't comport yourself as one of the temple before you.
No, that is true.
And I think it suits you better, brother, to be honest to your heritage. So Zaki and Yaqub, basically kind of, I'm assuming you're checking your weapons if you have any in. What I'm interested in is, are you retaining anything and how are you doing so if you are?
No, I don't think I am. I'm hoping not to get into a fight here. So I have a knife and my Vulcan carbine. I will check them both in.
Yeah, and I have my second-hand bought Vulcan pistol, the rusty one. I hand it.
Excellent.
Say rusty or trusty?
Rusty. Haven't been fired once.
Just needs a clean.
Yeah.
So once you've checked that in, it all seems to be very formal. They give you a little data tag so you can claim them back. And then you are invited into the next room. And if you thought that there weren't going to be any weapons in the next room, you are, I don't know, confused, excited. You're wrong, because this is a large room full of people, but up above, well out of reach, sort of, you'd have to stand on somebody's shoulders to reach up for it, are a number of rifles and blades and the like from, well, somebody want to make a culture roll looking at them?
Not me, of course.
Do a culture roll.
Do you want a dice of help, Tone?
Yes,
we can discuss this. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
So these
look
items
around.
basically being displayed like in a.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a museum almost.
Yeah.
I get 3 successes. I think I know all about these things.
So these look like they are older than the Portal Wars.
Mm.
So hundreds of years old. But they are, you wouldn't know whether they were functional or not, but they look well maintained.
Okay.
They're like the Lassiter.
They're not quite. They're more elegant than the Lassiter.
Worth as much as the Lassiter.
Yeah,
but worth as much.
Didn't work.
Yeah. And they are also they're kind of raised in geometric patterns around the walls here. So they are very much a display of power, but also kind of a message. I don't think even for 3 successes, the way you'd read it is it was a putting up of arms after the horrors of the Portal Wars. It's putting them out of the way.
Would these be very valuable as antiques? You know, if you nicked one.
Each individual one, I don't know. You'd get they're quite valuable as an antique. The collection as a whole, priceless.
I'm not suggesting we try and steal them, you know, but
let's wait till the ship's fixed first.
Also, you've seen, as I've mentioned to you, Tony, you saw various members of the Purple Guard around. You've never seen as many in one place as there are all around this room. You count, they're pretty much standing, not quite hand in hand, but there are on each of the 4 walls of this place is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Purple Guard, all being the sort of ceremonial guard here.
are they armed though? Looking,
these guys are armed. Yeah,
ceremonial guard, but they are really being guards,
but also potentially really being guards as well. Yeah.
So
and
who else is here then?
Loads of people. Do you want to have a look around? And
I'd like all their names, please. Yeah.
Brilliant. I can do that because I've written some of them down.
Very nice.
But just as an overview of people,
crowd, yeah.
You are seeing a number. You are seeing Dars of Djachroum, which is to say, kind of the ruling families of Djachroum. There's a lot of them. It's not a big thing to be a Dar of Djachroum, really. But wealthy Dar families here. Fathers and daughters, you notice particularly that there seem to be quite a few of those.
Fathers and daughters. Okay.
Yeah. Older men and their daughters, but with no not you on Coriolis might have seen older men with young women and thought worse of them, but you can see here only familial love between these people. Nothing dirty at all, but very much a number of men and women with them who are young enough to be their daughters. You're seeing, interestingly, a contingent of people in quite dark suits, and I will get you all to make a wits roll to see where you've seen those before.
Wits?
Or
Yeah,
just wits.
Plain wits.
Okay. I get 2 successes.
Nope, nothing.
2 successes. How many wits have you got, Dave?
I have 5 wits. It's my best
Okay.
stat.
I have 5 wits, but I rolled no successes.
I have 5 wits, no successes.
Obviously, it's Oshian's great ability to observe stuff. You've seen people like this
men and young women
on screen before the destruction of Coriolis, during the speech that your old friend Kassar made when he took over pretty much the council, and he mentioned the Sentinel Brigade, the new security force that he was going to put in place.
Ring a bell.
There are a number of people in the same uniforms that when he waves to kind of lines of Sentinel Brigade, generally, what clothes are they? Yeah, dark is all it says here. So I'm going to go with black. They look a bit like, I'm guessing, Imperial officers in their black.
So this is the basic. This is the hegemony.
Yeah, possibly.
Not made by Hugo Boss.
You remember them being announced as the hegemony's new police force? There's a group of about 5 of them in this room here. There are.
So we want to hope they recognise us, anyway, don't we?
Well, do you think they know we've been sacked yet? Because they might still think that we're heroes of the Nazis.
Yeah.
You can also see. So your boss, remember, was a member of the Asterban, but she was also a naval officer, and you can see some naval people in the same sort of uniforms that she had. So again, hegemony naval officers, but you can also see nomads with very much here in Djachroum, in a place you wouldn't have, in a state you'd never have seen them really in Coriolis, or you would, but only in less reputable parts of Coriolis, openly displaying, for example, biosculpted tails that a lot of nomads have to help them work in 0G operation. Here on Coriolis, generally biosculpting was disapproved of, and people with body modifications didn't particularly flaunt them in public. Here they are very much on display. So you see a group of nomads, 2 or 3 of them at least, tailed, talking together as you're watching. What else?
So is this like a big party, or like a big
what's our sense of
thing?
What are people doing here? Are they coming because they want an audience with the governor to try and get something, or are they just coming in to have a look around at the
you've got it
on display?
Actually, they want to know. So the and if you ask this of Isabelita, she says, well, yes, of course, you're right. They want an audience with the governor. They're not all going to get an audience with the governor. Many of these people, those Dars, will come day after day. But you see, they might have an ulterior motive. Although they say they want to see the governor, perhaps they're simply bringing their daughters here so that other people can see their daughters. Because the Dars of Djachroum like to make advantageous marriages. It could well be that they have come here as a place to meet, well, in this time of turmoil, people who may become very significant in the future. And they've simply brought their daughter along to arrange, shall we say, a long-term bet that one of those people who may be powerful in the future will be their son-in-law.
Well, we've got 3 eligible bachelors here, haven't we?
Yes, my brother. She taps you on your shoulder. Yeah, but we're talking about people who may be powerful in the future.
Hey, this last year and a half, I've been through stuff. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
And you notice actually there is a group of people, you think probably free league people, who are looking at you and pointing you and Yaqub out, and you can just about hear them maybe mention Captain Kassar, So you're not unknown here. In fact, what is your reputation at the moment, gentlemen?
5.
5, yep.
Yeah, I'm still unknown. Who's this guy? Who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, that's my reputation.
Yeah, like there's a great Yaqub and Oshian and some other hang on.
Yeah, but they're hanging on to the outside of an airlock. Zaki, Yaqub, Zaki is now a full member of the crew, so you can't bully him, all right?
I wasn't. I was just having a little joke with our friend. That's all.
That's what bullies say. We're just having a laugh. It's all funny, isn't it?
Banter.
So Isabelita says some people may wait here all day, may come back, return here day after day. Others will be invited through into the next room. And almost as she says that, a very clerical-looking person with little round data glasses, you can see information scrolling across the lens as he looks, comes up to you and says, Ishipatha?
Ispatha.
Ispatha. Ah, yes, Ispatha. And I don't know why I'm looking at my hand like I've got a set of notes here, reading it off his blooming glasses, as I've just said. and he waves his hand and kind of makes some movements up by his glasses where he's obviously making a correction. Ispatha. And he looks around the group and turns to Isabelita. Ah, yes. Madam, your request has been rewarded. You may enter into the watching chamber. And the group, all four, she ushers you along, even though you referred only to her. All four of you and the judge and her, all four of you and the judge follow Isabelita into another room, which is smaller, but not much smaller. It doesn't have the fancy display of weapons at all.
Can I just before we go, as we're going in, obviously, I guess we've been seen just to arrive, particularly by those Free League guys, who are like muttering about us. As they go past, I just want to catch one of them like eye to eye, just give them a little wink, as we're obviously being ushered in as important people ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. Can I get you though to make a manipulation roll for me?
Why didn't Tony do this?
Because this is unnecessarily provocative and will only lead to trouble later. That's why.
I've only got 3 dice for this. Fuck it, I'm going to push it.
Oh, that's early. Okay.
I got 1 success on my push,
Yeah.
and two face huggers.
So you do get a rather begrudging nod and smile of acknowledgement. If you had failed, that may have come to bite your ass later.
He would have stabbed you.
He can try stabbing me. I'm fucking good at stabbing, and I've still got my knives on me.
But yeah, so you're welcomed into the next room. There's no fancy display of weapons here, but this room does have a window that looks out onto the palace's private gardens, and they're pretty impressive. So most of the talk in this room is at that end where these big windows are, as people look out into the private gardens. Of course, there's no sunlight here. The light is all artificial in these gardens. And in fact, part of the gardens themselves are bioluminescent plants. So I kind of want you to imagine something like, I think what I was thinking of as I was thinking this, something like the bioluminescent plants on Avatar, the thing with the blue tail people, not the anime. So those sort of
room is called the Room of the Watchers because people are watching the garden. Is this so? Or are they watching?
No, it's called the Watching Chamber. Well, I don't know why it's called the Watching Chamber. It's like another guard. There aren't in this room any of the purple guard that you saw earlier on, but it's another room where basically people say, people are still waiting, a slightly more select group than were waiting outside.
Do we recognize any of the the one who were accepted the audience inside the room?
Sorry, the clerk who invited you into this room.
No, inside the room itself. Do we recognize any of the?
Right, yeah, and yeah. Sorry, yes, and yes, you do. So here you have two delegations of what looks like, what you might imagine were a single delegation of the Church of the Icons. But you've got two delegations here, one of which you'll recognize as being very much sort of Mirren, and the others mostly women, and from you would Zaki, you would recognize them because of course this is where we first brought you into the adventure. These are the sisters from Lotus City, the sort of authority in the ancient monuments of Lotus City that you met when you were first doing your investigations there.
With Ghazi?
With Ghazi, exactly, yeah. Just trying to remember what their name was, and I'm having to go back to find it.
Are any of these people a problem for you, Zaki, with your Mirren?
The Mirren, I'm waiting to know. The sisters know. The sisters was very friendly.
Okay, what is your reputation, Zaki?
2.
2.
Plebeian.
I will roll 2 dice and see if anybody recognizes you.
Double 6 coming up.
Interestingly, Zaki, somebody does.
Oh,
you see somebody looking at you. They're not. They're looking at you. They do a kind of double take. They're sort of simply panning across the room, and they suddenly look back at you, and you see a mixture of emotions on their face that are quickly covered up. So you're not entirely sure. They're not coming to greet you or anything, but you definitely feel that you are known.
Yeah, I guess Oshian is a big guy, so I'm just getting behind him to just escape.
Does Zaki recognize this individual? That he
not.
thinks recognize him.
Right, Zaki. Roll your wits again.
Sweets. Voor een 5. 1 success.
1 success. Yeah, you think you do know him. And it's not great news.
Okradarma. Oh, scheisse.
And at 10 o'clock, that feels to me like a perfect place to end the adventure. So we didn't get quite as far as I was expecting, but I'm liking the scene setting we're doing here. So we're going to carry on in much the same vein next week,
good fun.
as long as everybody can make it.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I should be able to. The only possible issue is that I know because Ali's away in Spain with work, and they're coming back next Monday.
And maybe to live from the airport or whatever.
From the airport, and I think their flight's due at 6 or something, and it's only at Stansted. So if it all goes on time, it won't be a problem. I guess if they're delayed at all, might potentially be an issue.
Well, maybe if they're delayed, then you simply get left here in the watching chamber when the others advance into the next room.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll stay over in the garden.
Or whilst I'm trying to hide Zaki from the people who are suddenly trying to arrest him.
I'm not arrested, to be honest. I will bet killed on shot because You're
just killed on sight. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm getting one of the sons of their chiefs imprisoned. So yeah.
Okay. This is something you didn't tell me in interview when you went for the job on the ship.
Yeah.
So
Right, Zaki, I think what we might do, just you and I at some point over the Discord before we do the next episode, is just explore some of the people in there, because that was entirely generated by a random dice roll. I did intend that maybe your problem would come up while you're on Djachroum. The fact that it's come up here and now is kind of interesting, but let's go with what the dice have done for us there. And maybe we'll chat a little bit more detail about who they might be. But awesome. To all our listeners and viewers, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you same time next week.
Next week.
Yeah.